A lot of people have big ambition. They want more freedom, more success, more impact, better relationships, a better life. They can see the next level in their mind, they can imagine it, they want it, they feel called toward it, but somehow they still don't fully move toward it. They keep hesitating, holding back, overthinking, delaying, second-guessing themselves. Why? Because ambition is only one part of the equation. Your ambition shows you what you want, but your self-worth determines what you allow yourself to have. And when your self-worth is lower than your ambition, a very painful internal conflict appears. Part of you wants more. Another part of you quietly pulls you back. So in this video, I want to show you 8 warning signs that your self-worth may be lower than your ambition. And if you relate to these, this is important. It doesn't mean your ambition is too big. It may simply mean your inner system has not caught up with your vision yet. Let's get into it. Sign 1. You dream big, but play small. You have vision, you can imagine a bigger life, you can see greater success, greater freedom, greater expression, greater results. You know, at least somewhere inside, that your life could become much more. But when it comes to real-life action, you play small. You stay cautious, you hesitate, you avoid bold decisions, you don't fully back yourself. So there is this strange gap. Your mind can imagine big things, but your behavior stays conservative. Why does that happen? Because a part of you may still not believe you truly deserve that level of life. That's what makes this so frustrating. It's not that you lack intelligence. It's not that you lack potential. It's not that you have no ideas. It's that your self-worth level may still be lower than the future you keep imagining. And when that happens, you end up shrinking your actions to match your current internal comfort zone. So you dream big, but move small. That is one of the clearest signs that self-worth is limiting ambition. Sign 2. You overwork to prove your value. Working hard is not the issue. Discipline is not the issue. Effort is not the issue. The issue is why you are working so hard. Because sometimes people are not working from inspiration. They are working from worthiness hunger. In other words, work becomes a way to try to earn the right to feel enough. The mind starts running a hidden script like this. If I achieve more, then I will feel valuable. If I do more, then I will deserve more. If I prove myself enough, then I will finally feel enough. That sounds productive on the outside, but internally, it creates a trap. Because when self-worth is low, no achievement ever fully lands. You hit a goal, and it's not enough. You get praise, and it fades fast. You accomplish something, and then your mind says, okay, but now do more. So instead of achievement being an expression of self-worth, achievement becomes an attempt to compensate for low self-worth. And that is exhausting, because now you are not just working, you are trying to use performance to fix an inner wound. And performance can never permanently fix what self-worth is supposed to heal. Sign 3. You hesitate to show yourself. You may have something valuable to say. You may have skills that could help people, experience that could guide people, a story that could inspire people. You may know that if you really started expressing yourself fully, it could open major doors in your life. But when the moment comes, you hold back. You hesitate to post. You hesitate to speak. You hesitate to lead. You hesitate to put yourself out there fully. And then a quiet voice appears. Who do you think you are? What if people judge you? What if you look stupid? What if you are not good enough yet? This is one of the most common signs of suppressed self-worth. Because when self-worth is low, visibility feels dangerous. The mind would rather keep you hidden and safe than seen and exposed, even if being seen could completely change your life. So people stay invisible, not because they have nothing to offer, but because a part of them does not yet feel worthy of being seen at that level. That is why so many intelligent, talented, capable people remain quieter than they should, not because they have no value, but because their self-worth does not yet fully support their expression. Sign 4. You sabotage new opportunities. This is one of the biggest warning signs. Life opens a door. A new opportunity appears. A new connection appears. A good idea appears. Momentum starts building. And then suddenly, you delay. You hesitate. You overthink. You pull back. You do something that breaks the momentum. Why? Because self-worth affects what level of life feels emotionally allowed. So if something good begins moving you beyond your current self-image, the mind may quietly resist it. This is where self-sabotage comes from so often. Not because you consciously want to lose, but because your internal system is trying to protect what feels familiar. And familiar is powerful. Even if familiar is frustrating, even if familiar is smaller than what you want, even if familiar is painful, the mind often prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar expansion. So when success starts rising too far above what your self-image is used to, the system pulls you back down. That is why people can pray for opportunities and then freeze when those opportunities finally arrive. Sign 5. You compare yourself constantly. Comparison is not always bad. Sometimes it can teach you, sometimes it can show you what's possible, sometimes it can reveal where you want to grow. But when self-worth is unstable, comparison becomes painful very quickly. Now you look at someone else's success and instead of feeling inspired, you feel smaller. You see someone else doing well and instead of learning from it, you feel behind. You scroll social media, see someone's progress, someone's confidence, someone's results, someone's lifestyle, and instantly your mind starts attacking you. They are ahead of me. They are better than me. I should already be further. What's wrong with me? That kind of comparison does not sharpen ambition. It weakens it, because now ambition starts feeling heavier and heavier. Instead of pulling you forward, it starts making you feel inadequate. And that happens when your self-worth is not stable enough to let you witness someone else's success without turning it into self-rejection. When self-worth is healthy, other people's success can become evidence of possibility. When self-worth is low, other people's success becomes evidence that you are not enough. That's a huge difference. Sign 6. You need external validation. Compliments feel powerful. Recognition feels energizing. Applause feels amazing. Someone noticing you can lift your whole mood. But criticism hurts deeply. And silence hurts too. No response, no recognition, no praise, no visible approval. That can feel way heavier than it should. Why? Because when self-worth depends on external feedback, your emotional state becomes controlled by other people. Now your mood is in their hands. Their approval makes you feel high. Their silence makes you question yourself. Their criticism makes you doubt your value. That creates emotional instability because the mind keeps looking outside for proof of something that is supposed to be built inside. It keeps asking, do they see my value? Do they approve of me? Did I do enough? Am I enough now? And this creates a very shaky emotional life because external feedback is always changing. Sometimes people praise you, sometimes they ignore you, sometimes they misunderstand you. If your self-worth is tied to that, then you will always feel unstable. Real self-worth creates an internal anchor. It allows you to appreciate feedback without depending on it for your identity. Sign 7. You set goals but don't feel ready. You set goals, you make plans, you write things down, you tell yourself this is it, things are changing. But deep down, there is still this subtle feeling, I'm not fully ready yet. So what happens? You keep preparing, you keep learning, you keep consuming information, you keep organizing, you keep thinking about the perfect time, but your action stays limited. That is one of the biggest ways low self-worth hides, because it often disguises itself as preparation. It sounds smart, it sounds responsible, it sounds like you're getting ready. But in reality, the mind may just be postponing exposure, postponing visibility, postponing risk, postponing the moment where you step into the arena. Why? Because a part of you still does not feel worthy enough to begin boldly. So the mind keeps waiting for a future version of you to feel ready enough. But that moment often never comes on its own, because readiness is not always something you wait for. Sometimes readiness is something that grows through action. And when self-worth rises, you stop needing so much permission to begin. Sign 8. You feel capable of more, but stuck. This is probably one of the clearest signs of all. You know you could do more. You know you could build more, create more, become more, express more, receive more from life. You can feel it. You can almost sense a bigger version of yourself that is trying to come through. But something invisible keeps holding you back. It's not always obvious. It's not always dramatic. It's just there. A quiet drag, a hidden resistance, an internal brake. It feels like driving a car with the handbrake slightly pulled. You can still move, but not fully. You can still make progress, but not at full power. You can still do things, but everything feels heavier than it should. That handbrake is often self-worth. Because when ambition wants to accelerate, but self-worth does not feel safe at that level, the system creates resistance. That is why so many capable people live below their potential. Not because they have no ambition, but because their self-worth has not yet risen to support the life they actually want. So here is the realization. Your ambition is not the problem. Your ambition is actually a signal. It shows you what your life could become. It points toward the next level. It reveals the bigger life that is possible for you. But self-worth is what determines whether your mind allows you to move toward that life with confidence, or whether it keeps pulling you back. Your ambition says, this is what I want. Your self-worth says, this is what I believe I'm allowed to have. That's why self-worth matters so much. Because when self-worth rises, a lot starts changing naturally. Your decisions improve, your boundaries improve, your standards improve, your confidence becomes more stable, your behavior starts matching the future you want. And suddenly the gap between who you are now and who you could become starts closing. Not because you forced it, but because the system starts supporting it. And that is exactly why we created Mental Fitness Gym membership. Because most people never learn how to train self-worth. They try to fix their life only on the surface. They try motivation, they try discipline, they try pushing harder, but they never train the inner system that drives everything. Inside Mental Fitness Gym membership, we go deeper. We focus on things like strengthening self-worth, dissolving limiting beliefs, removing guilt, shame, and fear patterns, building emotional control and mental strength, upgrading the identity that drives your life. This is not just motivation, this is mental training. So if you know that your ambition is bigger than the life you're currently allowing yourself to live, and you want to strengthen your self-worth and train your mind like a muscle, join us inside Mental Fitness Gym membership. The link is in the description. Train your mind, change your life. And if this video spoke to you, let me know in the comments, which of these 8 warning signs do you relate to the most? And I will see you in the next video.